this summer. We'd like to do more, so if you could, be sure to sign in to our sign-in sheet so we can keep track of everybody who came to the training today. And we also have evaluation sheets that we're going to pass out at some point, or if you have to leave for some reason, they're right here. So please fill that out. In particular, if you have any suggestions for trainings that we could do in the future, please write them down on the suggestion sheet, and we'll see what we can do. And what is probably the silliest thing I could possibly do, being the new guy, I'm going to introduce Ms. Margie Jones. For those who don't know her and know me. And she's going to do PowerPoint. Thanks.
Make sure your computer is logged in. Is everyone logged in? Okay, I'm waiting on her computer to log in. Tammy, make sure you log in if Nancy's coming in so hers will be ready.
All right.
So if we get to this screen first, I don't want to get started unless we're here. Okay, making sure everyone's on task. There you go, Nancy. She's logging you in. My advice is help each other. You know, when something happens and you can't find your place on the screen. Some of you have a lot more experience than others, but some of you are my students from the past, and so I know how good you are. And so you might be able to tell me something, okay? So also make sure you ask questions as we move through. So if you don't ask the question, it's probably someone else is wanting to ask it. So ask questions. Now, what I have done, I have created a handout. And so a lot of things I tell you today, I've put it in a handout. So a lot of step-by-step procedures that I'm showing you, so that it's 4 pages long, so that you can take this with you when you leave. So that if you wanted to work through PowerPoint on your own, you could go through some of the things I did, okay? So that's good for you too. So again, checking in the back of the room. You're still booting up?
It asked me to change my passwords.
Okay, so you're booting up. Tammy, is Nancy?
It's getting there. It's
Getting there.
turning. It's almost there.
I'm sure if you've ever had any PowerPoint classes, you know how much fun PowerPoint is. It's one of my favorite programs because it can really make you look good. I did a training one year for CV Fleet. Everyone knows what CV Fleet does, right? So just think about it. I had all these salesmen in the classroom, and once I finished training them in PowerPoint, they were then creating their own. So if you could have seen one of the things they sell, some of the graphics they used. And so all of a sudden, a lot of the salesmen were gathered around one computer laughing hysterically, and I went over to see what the little clip art was. Well, it was definitely a graphic picture of how to do the enemas, okay? That's CV Fleet for you. They even had the president of the company in the class. He was a lot of fun too. But it can be fun. It can really be fun. So I'm going to start it like you don't know anything about PowerPoint. I know some of you do, but I'm going to teach it like you don't know anything. So that's how I will get us started into it. Now I'm still waiting. I'm talking because I'm trying to talk and get through people booting up their computer.
How do we get to that screen? Is it just on the start button?
Tammy, help me.
Because
We're going to get PowerPoint 2013. And we just want this screen. Because what we're going to do is bring up a template because we want something to work with. Don't you go on the floor with that chair. There are some levers there, but
Oh, it's great.
some are broken.
Yeah.
Some are broken.
Yeah, that's all right. Don't walk me on the floor. You got to get up.
Are you there? Tammy, is she there?
yes, she is.
You're on this screen, correct?
I am, but now it's saying that Microsoft Office is stopped working, so it's, I don't know. I think about it. I'm gonna say well, it seems to have recovered itself.
I think you're good.
Okay, thanks.
Is Nancy okay, Tammy?
Yeah, we got, yeah, we know what we're doing, we just need to get to the screen, it's getting there slowly.
What's it doing, Tammy?
It's giving us a window saying Microsoft Update Service, that we can't sign her up for that.
We don't need to.
Yeah, just.
I think it's a bigger screen that you didn't get right.
Okay.
I don't know what I do.
Okay, this is what we're going to open, all right? I want you at the very top of the screen, you will see, these are templates. You will see one labeled education. You see education?
Yeah.
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Right here, top of screen. You'll see business, calendars, charts, education. Right here, at the top of your screen. So click on education, because what we're doing is calling up some education templates. What you have to understand, PowerPoint has built-in templates already there for you for almost every topic you want to cover. And so you can go ahead and bring up a template and then work it like you want, okay? So the templates are great, the designs are really neat. So the reason we're choosing this one is because we're in education and we're going to pretend we're in elementary school. So do you see where it says back to elementary school? Because that's just a fun one, okay? Back to elementary school. So we just click on it and open it. If you click it twice, it opens automatically to the screen. Okay? Back to elementary school. Okay? And again, these templates with these designs in them, you can only get them there, but can you imagine how many are there for you? So go there and choose a topic sometimes, and then you can always change the design, which we're going to go look at also to change the design. You there, Francis? Okay. Now, let's first familiarize ourselves with the screen. So when you open PowerPoint, at the very top of the screen, to the very left of PowerPoint, the title, this is called the Quick Access Toolbar. Quick Access Toolbar, top left. And the first button you see there looks like a floppy disk, not a floppy disk, it's a disk. It says save, you see save, you see undo, redo, okay? Now drop that arrow down, because the Quick Access Toolbar, the purpose is to put commands there that you use a lot. So you can personalize the Quick Access Toolbar. One thing about learning this in PowerPoint, you can do this in Word and Excel also, okay? So when you drop that arrow down, one of the ones I use a lot is New. So I click on New, so it gives me a blank PowerPoint up there. If I wanted to have print here, or quick print, I could click on them. So you can see this is how you customize the Quick Access Toolbar, all right? So we're just going to click back on the screen. Now, underneath the Quick Access Toolbar, this is called the ribbons. There are, I don't know why my storyboarding is over there, but mainly there are actually 8 tabs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't worry about storyboarding. That was added for this template. That was added to the template. But by default, you have 8 tabs. So these tabs have ribbons. So that you use a lot, and it's got a lot of commands on it that you use a lot. Now, if we click on Insert, so there will be times when I'm working through the presentation today, I'll say, well, click on Insert, and we get a new list of commands. Agreed? So as you click on a tab, you get a new ribbon with a new list of commands. And then, of course, go back and just click on Home. File, F-I-L-E there on the left, gives you a list of commands. This is where you can go, and when you go to Print, you will see a print preview, and we'll be going to print later. But these are where you can save as, you can actually export, and also you can close it. So file. Now, this is called the Backstage of PowerPoint. So in 2013, they changed it from 2010, and they call this the Backstage. And to get out of the Backstage, you just have to hit the arrow, that back arrow. That's how you get out of Backstage View. So that is Backstage View for all the new 2013 programs, okay? All right, so we've gone over that. Now, as you can see on the left side of your screen, you have a copy of every slide that's in this presentation. And we're on slide 1, and then you have a full view of slide 1 here to the right. Now, another thing that changes the view, let's go down here to the lower right, and this is called the status bar. This is a status bar. Because below the status bar is called the task bar. And a task bar just lets you see what programs are open. And that's separate. That's for the Windows operating system down there. So in PowerPoint, on the status bar, the first button we're going to look at on the right there is this button says Normal. Do you see the button that says Normal? Okay, if you click it, you are in Normal View. Okay? You are in Normal View, which gives you those slides to the left, a picture of the slide to the right. And also, if you look to the bottom here, there's another screen. It's actually called, down here, click to add notes. Do you see that? You got another screen. Another screen. And we'll talk about that later in Sometimes you can add notes to each of your slides to use in your presentation when you give it to a group. Now that's normal view. Click on the next button. What's it say? Slide sorter view. Slide sorter view is a great view to rearrange slides. If I want to move slide 10 over to slide 1 or vice versa, you can move your slides. So slide sorter view is exactly what it says. This is also where I have my students do transitions, and we'll look at transitions in just a minute. But slide sorter view is to see everything as far as moving the slides around. Now the next button says what? Reading view. And all it's doing is kind of giving you the slide like it's going to look when it appears on the screen. Now to get out of reading view, just make sure you click back on normal, that normal button, okay? You see normal? Click back on normal to get out of reading view, all right? Now, what's the next button say? Slideshow. So of course click that, and you definitely want to go there because you click here, and when you click it moves through each slide. So this is going to kind of show you, okay, this is what my PowerPoint's looking like if I were to give it to an audience. So that's slideshow view. To get out of slideshow view, just hit escape on the keyboard and you're back out of slideshow view, okay? Back out of slideshow view. And just make sure you're back on slide 1. Now all of you know do you know the zoom button? You see the zoom button there? In all the programs you have a slider that can make this larger. For those of you that have trouble seeing, you can what? Enlarge, make it bigger. Or the minus will make it what? Smaller. So you have that choice there on that slider zoom button, and that's true in all the programs now, Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint. You have that slider button. All right, now, another one over here, do you have on this status bar, do you see the one that says notes? You see the one that says notes? We're not going to click comments right now, but click on notes, and notice that that turns on that panel there at the bottom. You see that where it says click to add notes? So if you can't see click to add notes, that just means it's turned off. With me? And that turns it back on. So I try to show students, all these buttons because sometimes you just hit them accidentally and you want to know what happened. Okay, now over here to the left side of your screen, to the left side of the status bar, it will tell you how many slides are in your presentation. You see that? You're on slide 1 of how many? 23. Now on the status bar, if you right click on the status bar, there are things you can turn on or turn off. This affects the status bar, what's on and what's off. We're going to turn on theme, so it'll just always tell me what my theme is, and right now it's back to school because that's the theme that was used for this template, okay? So when I click out, now my theme shows there on the status bar, okay? All right, we still good? All right, now, let's go up here to design. We click on design. Now, because you brought this template up, it's in there with the other designs that are available to you by default in PowerPoint. So if you drop this more arrow, this arrow right here, always if you see an arrow, it's more, it means there's more to look at. So you click that. These are some templates that are already in there in PowerPoint that if you wanted to change the design, you could change the design to one of these. Agreed? So hover over any of these, and as you hover over them, see how it changes your screen? You see the look you might get? And you might go, well, I really like that one, or green, or you just hover over them and you kind of get an idea of what the design is going to do. Okay? Now, the design themes set up fonts, font size and font styles. It just sets up different the layout of the screens. So the design really affects how things are going to look. But you're the one that make it look what you want it to look like. So we're going to stay on, of course, the one we chose, which is the one back to school. Okay? But that's where you can change a design. Now, what we're going to do, because a lot of times in PowerPoint, people forget to go and change the transition. So let's go to transitions. Now, transition means when you run a PowerPoint presentation, how the slide comes on the screen is called transition. And in 2013, they really have some nice transitions. But you have to also know how to slow down or speed up the transition. because if the transition's moving so fast, you don't know there's a transition there. And so I'm going to show you how you can add a transition and also change its speed, okay? So we're going to be doing that with transitions right now. So what we're going to do, if you drop the more arrow down again, you're going to see what we call subtle transitions, exciting. See all this? Dynamic. I mean, you can really get into some neat transitions. You don't want your transition to take away from your presentation, but you can choose any of these, and then I'll show you how you can speed and slow down, okay? So go ahead and choose a transition. It won't matter to me what you choose. I'm going to choose Q, okay? Q. And next thing you do now when you choose a transition, tell it to apply to all. Do you see apply to all on the ribbon?
Yes.
On the ribbon. I see you're on the transition ribbon, and over to the right is apply to all. Agree? Now hit apply to all. Now what you're going to do right now is kind of look at your transition before we change the speed of it. Notice that the duration, what's the duration? There's your speed. What's your duration? 1.20. Now go to slideshow, because this is the only way to see transition. Go to slideshow, and mine is moving really fast, my transition, okay? Now, hit escape, come back to your slideshow. Now listen to me about the duration button. The higher the number, the slower the transition. So it's not going, you don't want it moving too fast. So I'm going to up my duration to about 4, okay? So you then run your slideshow and watch your transition, okay? Watch your transition. Slows it down? Didn't it slow it down? Okay? So that number determines the speed of your transition. So once you find a transition you like, you adjust the speed accordingly. Just 2 little things that really make a difference in how a presentation works. Now those of you that are in there looking at some of the transitions, which ones do you like the best? What do you like?
Fracture.
Ma'am?
Fracture.
Fracture. I was going to show it up here if I find fracture. Where is it?
Well,
Up over to the right.
To the right on. Go up above where you're at and over
Over.
1. No, over 1 prestige.
Sliding top right.
There it is. Okay, what speed do we want it?
2.00.
So I'm going to show you fracture so you can see, get a good idea. Look up here as a presentation. Whoops, what did I fail to do, class? What did I fail to do? Okay. Apply to all. Once you choose fracture, you have to apply to all, decide your speed, and then go into your presentation. And do you like fracture? Rest of you in the classroom? Yeah, so I'm not crazy about it. But again, you have to choose a transition that's going to add to your presentation. All right? Is that good? You know how to do transition. You also know how to slow it down. Okay. All right, now we're going to click on, and let's go down to slide 5. Slide 5. Now, to know how to type inside of these, this is a text box, of course. Just to show you a little bit of typing inside of a slide, I want you to click after my spouse partner. Let's talk about family here. Now, this is called level 1. This is bullet level 1. So we hit the enter key, and to move over a level, we just hit the tab key. Okay, to move over a level, you just hit the tab key. All right? Now, I want you to put these levels in because we're going to do what we call build effects. So build effects, when you give a PowerPoint presentation, you want everything coming in one at a time on a slide, okay? So the reason I want you doing this is because we're going to do build effects on it. So this is where you can type anything you want to here. Type yourself, your own, someone that you really like. If you don't want to type your spouse, you want to put someone else. Put several spouses. Don't do that. Our children, all right? After our children, you can tab in here and you can list some children that you might have, okay? If you have any pets, but these are called levels, level 1, level 2. And if you go in further after children, you can have level 3, but all you do is tab to move over. You tab to move over, okay? Just wanted to get some different levels in here. So you got some levels? Now, This is one of the most important things you can learn about a PowerPoint presentation is to do build effects, and really you need build effects on every slide, because that way you determine when things come in and what order they come in, and it's through the animation pane. So everyone has something here. I want you to make sure you click in this area, this boxed area, okay? And we're gonna go up here to animations. Click on the animations tab up here on the ribbons, animation. And again, how you have something come in is totally up to you. But now don't go down to motion paths down there, you'll get in trouble. Choose entrance up here that's just very basic. Choose either a fly or float in, because we just want to work with very basic right now. So I'm going to choose fly in. And now here they all come. Now, if I go into my slideshow, notice that, well, they all come in at one time when I click. Well, I don't want them all coming in like that. I want them coming in one at a time. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to make sure the build effects come in one level at a time. So here in the animation pane, we have to open the animation pane up here on the ribbon. Do you see the button that says animation pane? Okay, open it up. Open it up. And this is called a content placeholder over here. And when you drop this arrow down, you see some options to choose from under the content placeholder. And we're going to go to Effect Options. Effect Options. And go to Text Animation. And what you want to do is tell it to come in, probably you're not going to have any more than 3 levels. Remember, a level is every time you tab over on the screen, you got a different level. So we're going to tell it all the way through 3rd level to make sure it's animating all the way through 3rd level. And we say, okay. Now see how they all come in one at a time? One at a time. So when I'm in slideshow, when I bring this, I'm talking about my subject to my audience, I bring up my item, talk about it, bring up my next item. Agree? Build effects. Build effects brings everything in one at a time, but only if you go tell it through 3rd level. If you have more than 3 levels, you have to tell it through 4th. Does everybody understand that? Are you good? You good with levels? Now what we'll do, let's also kind of look at some things, standard 2 in here. Let's go back to the home ribbon. Let's go back to the home ribbon. And we'll leave that slide 5 alone because we're going to come back to it and put something in and animate it so we can show you how to change the order of the animations. All right, let's go ahead and click on slide 6. Slide 6, again in PowerPoint, you choose a layout for your slide. So you have to decide, well, what kind of layout do I want? And up here on the home ribbon are the different layouts. For example, if it's just the title slide, like slide 1, that was the layout of it, or you want just title and content, or you want something that has content side by side, which is called to content. You with me? So we're going to click on to content. So it gives you a box to the left and also a box, where class? To the right. Okay? So you have it lays out your slide for you. It's what layout will do. Now the other great thing about layout is it also enables you to put things in here automatically. Like if you wanted a table, you see where it says insert table? Or you want a chart, or you want Smartart. Now what we're going to do is look at Smartart because it's the most fun. It can make something look so good and all you've done is apply Smartart to it, okay? So we're going to tell it, hey, we want some Smartart. So we click on insert Smartart. And in here are many different diagrams to choose from. We're going to go to cycle. We're going to go to cycle. And I'm going to choose the one that says a text cycle. And when I choose it, I can see a description of it here. I'll look at it. And then I say OK. All right? And this is my cycle. So up here, I click in text. And I'm just going to type some simple layout, because we're talking about layout. And it'll size itself, okay? Layout, slide. Just click at those just so you can see how easy it is to design. These things we've already covered, okay? Animation. You see what I'm doing, class? And that design, that slide, that design that you chose, that Smartart, makes it very easy for you to do something that flows in a cycle if that's what you're trying to show. So again, and I'll just type audio here. So this is your Smartart, that when you finish with that Smartart, notice that up here on the ribbon has changed because you are in Smartart. Agreed? So up here on the ribbon, you can go over here to the different layouts and go, well, hey, I don't like that layout that I chose. I'm going to change it to this, called gear. You see gear? Well, also you might say, well, I don't like the colors that are in there. Well, I might go here and choose a different color scheme. Now the color scheme goes along with the theme that you have chosen, because the theme is back to school. So I might change this color scheme. But again, you have so many things you can do here as far as applying a different kind of Smartart layout, okay? And also change color. And here, if you want to give it even more pizzazz, look what you can do. See these? You can get a 3D effect. You see those 3D effects? You want to see where I clicked on that? Right here, under Smartart Styles. And you can get a 3D effect. Look at that 3D. Does that look good? And so you can really dress up what you've done in that slide as far as Smartart, okay? And as far as colors and changing everything in there. All right? Are we good? Good on that? Okay. So that changed the layout of the slide. Now let's go back to, let's go to slide 3.
Margie, when
Yes.
you choose the particular,
Are you back on the other slide?
well, no,
This one?
yeah, when we're choosing that, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but for this design that I chose, it only has 3 showing.
Well, then you make sure that you choose a design that's going to fit yours, or you can add shapes to it. But you can also add shapes to a design. But then also, when you set yours up, you're going to set it up to fit the number of boxes you want. Is what I tried to do. But you can also add shapes. I added it automatically.
So if you have a little bullet over here that's asking you to do your steps, you can just keep entering.
Right. See right here? You can open up the text box for a layout. And if I wanted to add something after layout, see how it adds another design to my Smartart? So if I wanted to add something else here, I could, okay? But did everyone see how I opened the text box?
Yeah, but evidently on this one, it only allows 3.
Okay, that one wouldn't let you, okay. But right here, class, on your Smartart, there's a button right here to the left of your Smartart, and it opens up a text box that you can type your text here rather than in the design. You have a choice of whether typing in the design or in the text box. Okay, everyone see it? So that is, I'm so glad you asked questions, because this just helps everyone understand how to set something up. So, but then Gail said her design wouldn't allow her to set up anymore, so you choose another design, Gail. But the great thing is this Smartart is wonderful to set up things in here automatically, okay? Now, we are going to go back to, and we're just going to do this on slide 3. And what I have my students do a lot of times, especially having to do it to slide 1, I have them change what we call the background of the slide. Because changing the background allows you to bring in a wonderful picture that pertains to your presentation and just really adds to the presentation. Now, you are not inserting the picture, you are changing the background. So changing the background is totally different than inserting a picture. So we're going to go in and work with the background on this. So on this particular slide, and you see you could be on, what slide I think to be on?
3.
Okay, here we go, 3. Just remember you can do this for any slide, but this will show you how to do it. Now, the first thing we're going to do to show you also how to get rid of a text box, I want you to select inside this text box, click on the edge of it. You know you have that 4-headed arrow, and if you hit delete, it gets rid of the text box. And then click on it again, and you keep deleting those text boxes. That's what I'm showing you also. Showing you how to delete the text boxes. Click on the edge of them, hit delete. Click on the edge of that box and hit delete. So I'm taking away those text boxes, okay? I don't want any text on the screen. I'm going to do a picture. I'm going to do a picture of the class, for example. My class. All right? You ready? Now we're going to format the background. So we're gonna go to design, and we're gonna go over here to format background. Now under format background, we want to click on picture or texture field, okay? Now, those of you that have pictures on your flash drives or on your own computers, whatever, you can choose any picture you want. You know, it could come from your camera. But you can bring a picture in as a background for this presentation. We okay? Okay. Click on the edge of it, hit delete. Click on the edge of it, it selects it, hit delete. Look how perfect. Make sure you click the document. Tammy, we okay back there?
We're good.
Now we're under design, and we're under format background. Design, format background. And so, like I said, you can bring up any picture that you want, okay? So we're gonna mainly take you to the picture libraries because there's one in here with pictures in it. All right, you ready? We selected picture or texture field. That's what you selected. And we're gonna tell it that we want to insert the picture from a file that we have, okay? So we're going to click File. And now this is where you can go to the pictures libraries of the pictures that are here in Microsoft. Agreed? Now, you can click on Sample Pictures and choose any of these pictures as your background. So to make it fun for all of my students that know me, I'm going to go down to, maybe I have some pictures in here. You found a picture you like? Okay. And you insert it. Find your picture. I don't care. Just all we're doing is learning how to do it. That way you can always insert your own, right?
Double click.
That's right. Double click it or click on hit insert. It works. You got a picture? Everyone found a picture? Now for all those students that started out with me years ago when I had my children, here we go. Insert. Oh. Who is it? Kind of.
He still looks the same.
I know that guy.
You know that guy.
He's so years older, but he's still. Oh my gosh, he's grown up.
Now listen to me. Hide background graphics. That's important. That is important. Do not miss this step when you put a picture in as your background. Hide background graphics, okay? Hide background graphics. Now, see what it does? It puts a picture in. And some of my students in here know my duck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Denise, that's a duck. You didn't recognize him. Connie knew him as a baby. So Connie knew him as a baby. All right. So you see how you can change a background? Okay? But hide background graphics is important. Now another thing you need to do, whenever you change a background, you've got to decide, well, what text do you want on that background? Because you want to be able to see text. My students make the big mistake. They'll change the background and put text on the screen that you can't even read, right? So the purpose of the background is to relate to your presentation. And mainly maybe just have a title on the page, just a title, okay? That's all you probably have to start out your presentation. Okay, so we can all do that. And I do have the directions. Like I said, everything I'm showing you, I have directions for on the handout I gave you, those that want to be able to do this again. But that hide background graphics is very important. All right, let's click back on slide 1. Back on slide 1. Format background, just close that format background. Anytime several screens are open, it just makes things smaller, right? So you just want to close those out. The other thing that really stands out in PowerPoint is to do word art. Agree? Because word art can really dress up a title. All right, what we're going to do is select Welcome Students. I'm going to do it this way for you. And just delete it, okay? Just delete Welcome Students. Now, let's go to Insert on the ribbon. Insert on the ribbon. And let's go over here to Word Art. Now, it's not going to matter what design you choose right here, because once you choose it, you can then make it look like you want once the Formatting Toolbar pops up. So when you choose one of these, that you're going to be adding. You might choose something because of the color scheme back on your screen to go along with it. So I'm choosing this pattern fill orange, for example. So I choose it, and once it says type your text here, just type, what does it say, welcome students, okay, welcome students. Let's do that, welcome students. Now you can click on the box that came up, and you can drag it up to the top of the screen, because it's a text box. It's a text box is what happens, okay? Now, if you don't like the text box behind it, because that text box doesn't show up when you get into PowerPoint, but if you don't like it being there, you can just click on the edge of it, click on it with a four-headed arrow and get rid of it, because maybe it bothers you when it's there. You just get rid of it. But make sure you click back on Welcome Students. Now, some things you can do to welcome students, because it is word art. Did your ribbon change? What's it say now? Drawing tools, format. Do you see all this? Drawing tools, format. Well, let's go. Everybody see, because now make sure your word art is selected. It's got a text box around it. Go up here to text effects. Text effects. And you can go down to transform, because this is another way to kind of give a style to your word art. And notice if you hover over some of these, can you see what's happening to your word art? Like there's called chevron up, there's transform chevron, chevron down. Do you see some of these? Now you have to be able to read it, whatever you're using, but you can make a decision on one that you're using here, and I'm going to choose the chevron up, for example. So it gives a little bit of style. I can go over here and get a double-headed arrow on the corner, and I can make it bigger, because I can draw this word art and make it as large as I want. Come back over here and drag it to where I want it on the screen. And also under text effects, you have what we call 3D rotation. See those 3D rotations you can do in here? Perspective, perspective left. Do you see all the different things you can do to your word art class? Thank you. Yes. See, right. And so it's a matter of just going in here and working with it. If you don't like the color of the text field, like I'm going to go to text field, and I might change the color scheme to something else. You know, it's for what do I like? What's going to look good? People that are creative can really do some neat things with even changing the text field and the color scheme. But word art makes more of an impact than just typing the text. Agreed? The word art dresses it up. Under word art styles, I can still go back in here and change it and change it to anything I want. You just have so many options, and the question is, what's going to look good, right? What is going to look good?
I can't get rid of that click to add title.
All right, click on the very edge of it, Gail, the box that says click to add title with a four-headed arrow. Click on the very edge of it, hit delete to get rid of the box you don't want. Can't get rid of it?
See, I've got that box there.
Let me get it. There you go. And if you need to know how to get rid of boxes you don't want, because sometimes they just interfere with your screen. So do you like the look that you have on your welcome students? Right? You like that look? So that's how easy it is to use word art. Do you agree?
Yes.
Oh, wow, who's that person that keeps answering me? Are you a teacher?
Yes.
I just love teachers, because teachers will answer. You know, they will respond to you because they know what it's like. I was teaching a class at Brookville High School one time, and I was teaching them something, and it was a coach was sitting in the classroom, and all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it." He was jumping up and down. He was so excited. Thought I will put you in my classroom at the college. Because I love stuff like this. I get excited about it myself. It's kind of neat. Okay, I'm trying to see everything we've been doing here. Okay, now let's go down to that slide 5. Let's go down to that slide 5. And let's go to insert. Because what we're going to do, remember we animated the build effects there, all that's been animated. and we're going to animate, we're going to put a picture in here and animate that and then change the order. So you need to know how to change the order of things coming in, okay? So we're going to go to Insert, Online Pictures. Online Pictures. And believe me, see now, 2013 got rid of the standard clip art. You see? So it actually goes out there online and helps you look for things. There's no standard clip art in Microsoft. Yeah, it's out there online. So again, we're looking for something in education. So we'll just type education. Looking for something in education, just type it. And it doesn't matter what you bring up your class. You can bring up anything, because what we will do with it is we will bring it to the screen and animate it. So just click on it and insert it, okay? Does everyone know how to size a graphic once they bring it to the screen? A double-headed arrow on the corner will make it the size you want. A four-headed arrow will move it, right? A four-headed arrow will move it. But a double-headed arrow in the corner can size it to whatever size you like, or we can drag it back to a smaller size, whatever you want. This is just showing you. And see how these lines come up to help me position my graphic once I bring it to the screen? All right, click on Animations. Click on Animations. But first, of course, make sure the graphic is selected. Click on your graphic. It has to be selected because you are going to animate it. Okay? Animate it. Now, once I show you animation, which I've been doing, you on your own can go experiment with the different animations because they're fun. You can really add to a presentation. Well, let's drop down and whatever you want to choose here, how you want that graphic to come in. I'm going to bring mine in as a wheel, for example. I did a wheel animation. Do you see how it numbered it? Is yours numbered number 7? Okay. Now open your animation pane. Open your animation pane. Okay. Now over here under the content placeholder, there are 2 little arrows that point down. Open those so that you can see all your bulleted items. And they're numbered. And the picture is number 7. With me? Now, to reorder anything in that list, for example, let's say I want that picture to come in after my spouse partner, for example. So we click on picture 3, just make sure it's clicked on. And right here is an arrow. You see these little arrows right here? Or it says on the ribbon, move earlier, move later. Either way, you see this? Now I'm just going to use that up arrow and I'm going to move the picture and I'm going to move it all the way up to number 2. Agreed? Just move it where you want. Tanisha, okay? Everyone seeing how you do it? Make sure you want to see. Help each other if you don't. You want to just click on whatever you're ordering and move it where you want. No, don't enter anything.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I got that.
It's okay, having now class, what you want to do is go into your slideshow. Because now in your slideshow, when you click, things come in the way you ordered them. Agreed? The way you ordered them. The way you ordered them. So you have to know how to order the things on your slide. So you could, of course, put anything in there, change its order. Agreed? But it has to be animated. It has to be animated before you can change the order. Click. Gotta click. Go to slideshow and click, Gail.
Oh, I did go to slideshow.
Click.
I just forgot to click the bar.
There you go. You expect it to do it itself.
I did.
What do you expect, Gail?
Did you read my mind?
Again, what determines the speed on animation, just like in the transition? If you click on that picture Notice that you have what you call duration, right? Remember that duration button determines speed of everything, okay? So that duration button is there for anything that you animate, just like you did when you did your transition animation. All right, y'all really good. Y'all good at this. As long as you're in here with me. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna see what else we're going to do. Change the background. All right, let's go to inserting a shape. So we'll go down here to slide 7. Slide 7. Because another thing you can do is insert a shape and actually do anything you want to with that shape. So we're going to go to insert, and we're going to say shape. And these are shapes. There's all kinds of shapes in Word. And this is one of them, one area that you can get shapes from. Like if you needed an arrow to point at something, then you click on an arrow that you need, a block arrow, for example. And when you come back to the screen, your mouse is a crosshair. And this enables you to draw the shape. So you just click and start dragging. And it doesn't matter how you draw it, because once you have it, you can make it the size you want just using your different arrows. Big as you want. And inside of it is, if you've got it selected, you can just start typing. For example, I'm going to type website. Okay? Just something I'm emphasizing. I'm trying to emphasize something on my slide. And if you see this little circle, right here with an arrow, I can rotate my arrow. See how I can move my arrow to go any way I want? Okay? Everybody with me? So any shape that you put in, you can move it, you can rotate it around. Now it has its own ribbon, agree? So a shape is inserted. You can go up here to drawing tools and format, and you can change the color scheme in it, the shape field. Maybe you're going to choose one of these shape styles and make it much more bold, make it a different color, make it black, whatever. You are with me on all this?
Yeah, right here.
Shape styles, and then shape field can change the color. You can even change the color there. You've got so many options. Once you have something, the ribbon allows you to do anything you want. The ribbon with the different shape styles you can choose from, it's going to make it even more interesting. Okay? What do you think?
Great.
It's great. I agree. It's great. Can I enroll him in my classes? So if you move it, and a class again, you have to understand, you can have a shape, you can get any shape you want from that insert shapes thing. And then the other place to insert, because a lot of times, let's see, single buttons. I'll tell you something you can't do. In math, you have insert equations. You can do equations. Those of you like anybody math? Anybody math? Good. But they even have some equations here. I don't even understand. Yes, ma'am.
When I tried to type website on my arrow, after I had rotated the arrow, it's upside down, the text.
It didn't rotate with you?
No, the text didn't. Well,
See what you did, Ed? I'm surprised because your text is in the arrow, unless you. Everybody's text stay with their arrow when you rotate it? Trying to figure out maybe what she did wrong. And there are things when the class is over, I can help you individually maybe figure out things, because sometimes I just have to backtrack what you did. I'm sure.
Upside down? Take it out.
Did she fix it?
No,
No, okay, I'll work
but
with you
we
later.
had a workaround.
I'll look at it to see what you did later, okay? I can look at it later. Let's see what else I'm gonna show you. I've got several different things, but let's click on slide 1 for just a minute. And I go to home, because you might say, okay, I need a new slide. And so whenever you need a new slide, totally a new slide, it's up to you to put it in. We're gonna say new slide, okay? And of course, when you say new slide, then you have to say, well, what kind of layout do you want with the new slide? Agreed? So you click new slide and you go, okay, what layout do I want? And you could say, for example, title and content. And your new slide pops up, right? So we know how to get a new slide totally with the layout that you might want. To show you how easy it is to insert a table, just go to Insert Table on this icon, Insert Table. Tell it you need 4 columns, tell it you need 4 rows, and just say OK. And you've got a table just like in Word. And you know to type, you tab and type, agreed? Inside the table. So if you needed a table to show something on a slide, that's how easy it would be to put it in. And notice that up here, notice every time you go to something new, a ribbon pops up. Table style. So what you have here is a table. And you can dress it up, make it look different according to all these styles. You see all these different styles? So you could really make your table look good by just going to these different styles and making that, okay? But that's how easy we can insert a table. Let's click back on slide 1. Let's say that the teacher has a slide. If you have a presentation you're given, you want to duplicate the slide you did. You want to duplicate it because you don't want to recreate it again. Or you could copy, but duplicate's easier. So click on slide 1. Click on New Slide and go down. Do you see at the very bottom of all the layouts, Duplicate Selected Slide? You see that? Okay, click it. And it duplicates a slide. Okay? Now let's go to Slide Sorter View. Slide Sorter View, because I told you earlier, can you change the order of the slides here?
Yes.
Yeah, you can click on that slide too and start dragging. You want to drag him to the very end, for example. Because that's the end. You want to duplicate the slide at the end, which you did at the beginning. Okay? You drag it, the slide sorter view. So you duplicate a slide, and then you can drag it and put it where you want it. How we doing?
Great.
Good. What is your name?
Steve.
She likes you, Steve.
Yeah, Steve. I like you, Steve. I don't keep him in the classroom.
It's kind of like an in-one gift that everybody does.
There we go. All right. Let's go back to normal view. We'll go back to normal view. So many different things I have to show you. That button down there on the right of the status bar. Normal view. Normal view. Now, have you learned a lot about PowerPoint you did not know? Yes. Did not know. So glad. I want to teach you something you did not know. You see Twyla over here. She's bored because she knows everything.
We know.
I'm
just tired.
She's tired. You worked her too hard here today. I know. Twyla is brilliant. I know that. She's been one of my students. I know she's brilliant. All right, here we go. We're going to do putting headers and footers on slides or handouts, okay? And that's very important too. I was printing something for a coach at a high school the other day, and he didn't number his slides, and he could not keep track. I mean, once a slide got out of order, when he printed it out, he had no clue where he was because it wasn't numbered, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Insert, Header, Footer. You see header, footer? On the ribbon. All right. Now, this is the important part of this window. Notice that one tab says what? Slide. This means whatever header footer you do only shows up on the slide presentation on the screen. Okay? So, for example, businesses will probably put in here the name of their business because they want it to show up on every slide. So what you can do, another good thing is date and time. And you also tell it to update automatically because you never want an old date showing up on the PowerPoint. So if you tell it date and time, make sure you click on Update Automatically. Then, if you want a slide number appearing on your slide, that's another decision you make. You can put slide number. Now, we're gonna add a footer, and for example, we'll add, Central Virginia Community College. Now, this is for the slide only, And we're gonna tell this particular header footer not to show up on the title slide, That's an option. Now, do apply to all, Now, when you go into slideshow, you can see my title slide does not have it, but my next slide has the name of the business and what? The date and what? Slide number. Do you see all that? Name of business, date, slide number. Okay? Okay? Now that affects the slide presentation only. So we're going to come back out, click back on slide 1. That's header footers for the slide presentation only. Now, insert, header footer. Now, do you see where it says notes and handouts? Now click on notes and handouts. Now class, notes and handouts, and I'll show you how to print notes and handouts in just a few minutes. Notes and handouts are for you, for example, if you have handouts to give to your audience, you might print, 3 per page. So if you want a header or footer on your handouts, this is where you tell them. So this header footer is for the handouts only, or the note pages that you print. Because see, note pages, you can print your slide with your notes. Every slide can have its notes. And I'm going to show you how to insert notes and show you how to print them, okay? So when we do this header footer, we're doing it for only the notes and handouts. So if you want the date and time on your notes and handouts, and in the header, let's say that you want your name on it. So you'll add your name to the header, and this will only print when you print your handouts. It might be the name of your class, for example. Footer could be the name of your class. So you can make up a name of a class that you're taking or the name of some project that you're doing, but you're putting it on your handouts, okay? Now, so you won't see anything back on the screen until you what? Print. You only see it when you print it. Well, you see what we just did here. So we're going to say apply to all, and we're going to come back to screen. So this is a good time to show you how you can print things, okay? So we're going to go to File, and we're going to go down to Print. And right here where it says Settings, okay? And under it says Slides, and you see Full Page Slides. That determines what you're printing. Drop the arrow down. And when I give a lecture, if I'm teaching a lecture class and I want my students to have the notes on my lecture, I always do handouts 3 per page. So I go down and choose 3 slides. Do you see? 3 slides. Now, do you see your header and footer? Okay. And this would go on the handouts when they print. This would be on the handouts when they print. Now, another thing you can do to save ink, especially color, is always, I never print these in color. I print them in black and white. Okay? So you go down to where it says color, and I print these in black and white. With me? Is that good? Now, that's printing the handouts. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the screen and put notes on a slide so that you can see when you put notes on a slide, these are for you, the presenter only. Yes, Dave.
Margie, I'm looking at my, remember when you had us insert something from, insert a picture?
Yes, and it doesn't show up on your handout?
It is not?
Right, it won't.
Okay.
Yes.
Double check. Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes the pictures will not show up on the handouts.
Thanks.
On the screen or printing also?
When you print it. You'll usually, like David's already seeing that probably if you go through your handouts. Now my picture, David, what picture are you talking about?
It was the background.
The background. Yeah, it's only the background. Those other pictures that we do should show up, but that background won't.
Okay.
Background won't. Okay. So, anyway. All right. Now, let's go back. Let's make sure you're back on the screen. I'm going to show you where you can do your notes. Okay? For a slide. Let's say you're giving a presentation. You need some notes for every slide that you're giving. because right underneath the slide, you're able to keep your own notes as the presenter. So back here on, for example, let's go down to slide 5. And at the very bottom of the screen, do you see click to add notes? Do you see that, class? Click to add notes? All right. Click in there, and also get a double-headed arrow. Get a double-headed arrow right above it, and drag it up. See how you have more room? Because you're finished with your presentation, you want to go in and type your notes. Well, you need more room down here to type your notes. Now, whatever you type here is going to show up on your note pages. So type something in here just so when you go to print preview, you will see it for slide 5. So anything you type here, you're going to see on the screen when you get back here, okay? So you have something, okay? And notice it's on a slide, and I can do this for you can do it for every slide, you agree? You can do your note pages for every slide. Now let's go back to File, and let's go down to Print, and this time under Slides, we're going to click on what? What do you think we're going to click on? Notes Pages. With me? Notes Pages. And go to which slide? Slide 5, because that's where your notes are. That's the one you did the notes for, right? Do you see it? Right here is an arrow at the very bottom of print preview. These are arrows down here to move you through your slides. Those arrows down here. So if you want to print note pages only, when you print note pages, it prints every slide with your notes. Agree? David? What's wrong? You look like you have a question on your face. You don't see what, Denise? What don't you see here? Those arrows at the bottom will scroll through your presentation. That scrolls through each page.
Yeah, we're looking for the next thing.
Okay, go to slide 5. You type notes on it. Make sure you click note pages.
Okay, so I'm on print.
Okay, go down there below slides.
Yes. Oh, got it, okay.
Help each other, class. Help each other.
Putting this on the board.
No. I'll show you. They don't see anything.
I was looking at all the sheets.
You got it, girls?
Yes.
Got it.
Thank you so much.
Help each other.
I'm with you.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
That's very small. I like that.
Well, I'm glad you like that, Denise. Is you can print full page slides. Where it says full page slides. And you can print all 25 of the slides. They'll come out slide per page. Agree? Okay. So if you had to do that because you wanted to, for some reason, people do it. Okay. So just so you know, this is where all your decisions are. This is where all your decisions are about printing. Again, I encourage you to print in black and white because you don't really need that in color. Agree? We're in the backstage view of Microsoft, and how do you get back? Just hit the back arrow and you're back. That notes pages you can bring back down, because now once you go into slideshows, see, when you give a presentation, the only thing your audience sees is the PowerPoint presentation. They don't see your notes pages. They don't see any of that. Someone asks, will they see my notes? No, they only see your presentation that you're giving. That's all they see. Now, to show you some things about when you're giving a presentation, let's click back on slide 1. Let's click back on slide 1. Okay. All right, you're in slide 1. Now let's go to slideshow. Okay, let's go to slideshow, and I'll show you some things in slideshow that you need to know. Now, of course, in slideshow, you're having to click to move to the different slides. So let's click till we're all the way over here on slide 5. Okay, just click till you get to slide 5. Now, how will you know? Because we've got what now in the lower right corner on it? A number. We got a number now, so we know what slide we're on. Now, in slideshow view, if suddenly you do not want the audience to see your screen, Then you hit B on your keyboard. B. With me? Screen went out.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's B. Hit B again, it's back.
What do you hit?
B. Just the letter B on the keyboard.
Right, both times, both.
Toggles.
Okay, great.
Makes the screen go out and makes it come back. So just something when you're giving a presentation, I've had, you gotta understand all these companies that I train, they gotta do all this kind of stuff when they do this. But anyway, now also, right click on a slide on the screen, and you see where it says next and previous, can easily take it back. But you also see down here, does everyone see pointer options? What are you doing, Denise?
She's gonna say it's me.
I'm blaming on Diane.
I said I lost some else.
All right.
All right.
Now go down to pointer options, because for example, you might need to pick up beside your mouse. You might want a laser pointer to pick up, or you might need a highlighter because you've got some things you want to highlight on this screen. And then your mouse comes back, it's actually yellow. And you can highlight things on your screen, okay? And you can say, hey, you gotta understand, make sure you know this, or whatever. I come from the viewpoint of a teacher, so you can imagine what I'm, highlighting.
During the presentation.
During the presentation. Class, you are in slideshow view, and you are doing this during the presentation. Now, right click, go to pointer options. You can even get a pen, and you can write on your slide if you want. Etch-a-sketch, I love this, Etch-a-sketch, right? If you're good at this, remember Etch-a-sketch? Yeah, sure, remember that. You can even write on the presentation. Now, you might go, Ms. Jones, how do you get rid of all that? Well, all you've got to say down here is what? Erase all ink on that slide. I made a mess. Right click, erase it all. You get rid of it?
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. But you got to take your pointer. You got to take your pointer back to your arrow. Okay? Back to your arrow. Because once you change your pointer, you got to change it back. Right? Once you change your pointer, you got to change it back to an arrow option. Okay? So when you right click, you can also move back and forth between your slides. And you can even click on see all slides in this presentation view. What I missed. Okay? And then hit the back arrow and you're back in your presentation. So you know you click to move through, of course, and of course you also can you can also rehearse your presentation and set it up to time and run by itself. You have something for it to run on. Okay, what else? Oh, audio. Oh, don't you love audio? Audio. When I did Will Sandwich's retirement, I hope we don't have to retire him again. I'll just play back his old one. I want to retire where Will does his time. So I have Will's PowerPoint on here. It has all that wonderful music in it. Remember the music in PowerPoint in his retirement. But anyway.
I found the pictures the other day that I scanned for you.
Oh.
We had lots of fun. I thought I'd lost it.
Oh, I loved it. Wasn't it fun? Yes, fun was fun. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to insert audio. Now, the thing you have to understand about inserting audio, if you own some CDs with music, you can insert any music you want into a presentation. So once you insert it, you've got it from a CD, that's fine, insert it, then I'm going to show you how to play it across so many slides, for example. And that's the hardest part students have. How do I play it back? How many slides can I play it back through? So you're going to actually find your audio out there on the web and insert anything you want, and I'll show you how to play it back. Okay? Are you ready? Okay, we're on slide 1, we want some music to start with. So we're going to go to insert, because you probably didn't bring any music with you today, did you? We're going to go to audio, and we're going to say online audio so that you can find yours online, okay? Now what you're going to do, what I've had my do in the past, they can just get a music clip up, saying wait, is yours loading? I'm still loading. Slow 55. It's because we have everyone going online at the same time in this classroom, and it takes a while to go online. That's why it's always good to have your own music where you have everyone. So it's easier. Anybody loaded yet? There we go. Now, all I want you to do is type music here because there's very few free music out there. That's why you have to have your own. And if you have iTunes, you can go out there and get your iTunes if you wanted to. Now, you need to just select an audio that's in here because it won't matter what you select because I can make it play because you're golden. Ma'am?
Mine doesn't have that.
You don't have music?
Don't have music track to choose from.
Did she type music? Somebody's already listening to theirs. Oh, it's a sad one. Choose one. Choose one. Oh, I won't choose mine. I got my own class. You have to choose yours. Choose one and just say insert, okay? Everybody found one? Now, class, right here, is everyone's audio working?
No.
See this little button down here on the taskbar? Make sure someone hasn't muted your sound. And also, right here on front of your monitors, this is a volume button right here. See this volume button? So first, just once you bring it up, just make sure you can hear it, okay? So if you can hear it, you'll know then that it's playing, then we'll work with it.
My computer, my thing is I'm hooked up to
Back
so.
through the years, I go wandering once again. Back to the seasons of
I love Dolly Parton's song, Go to Many Colors. I came from the hills of West Virginia, the coal camps, and I relate to her real well. I had to coat, probably not a coat of many colors, a dress of many colors. So as long as you have a song, you can import it into your. Because everyone's working? It sounds working?
It's not gonna work because this is not plugged in.
Oh, yours isn't plugged in,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you'll learn
But I
how to
get the
do it.
idea, yeah, thank you.
whatever it please with us to make my coat of many colors.
Okay, now, listen to me about your audio, because this is another major mistake students make. The worst thing you can do at a PowerPoint presentation is once the PowerPoint presentation is running, you see that stupid clip on the screen, right? So you don't want to see it on the screen. So make sure your clip is selected, and these are the things you can do to make it play like you want. So it's selected. Up here on the audio tools, you have playback. Everybody got playback? All right. First thing you're going to do is over here where it says start. Make sure you choose automatically, right? Then you say hide during show. Okay? Hide during show. Then open animations and open the animation pane because this will show you your audio, correct? Everyone got their audio in the animation pane? You might say, well, hey, I want to play this music back over the first 4 slides. You know, however many slides, wherever you insert this music in your PowerPoint presentation, you tell it how many slides you want to play across. And that's going to be up to you. So, what we're going to do over here on the right side on this animation pane is click this down arrow right beside your sound clip, and go to timing. And then in this screen, click on Effect. And I'm going to tell mine, for example, stop playing after slide 4. I'm going to play mine through slide 4. Because I'm on slide, you know, however many slides you put it, whether you're in the middle of your presentation or not, it'll play across that many slides, wherever you are in the presentation. So when you say OK, now when I go into slideshow, mine will only play across the first 4 slides. With me? So I'm in here and I'm clicking. It's going to play. It's only going to play through slide 4.
To the seasons of my youth, I recall the box of rags and now.
And after slide 4, mine stops. You with me? That's a very important feature to know how to play back music. And any of you that's having trouble with it, anything you're having trouble with in here right now, I can easily help you with when we finish going through everything. Okay? Your sound, no sound is yours.
Yeah, I'm just watching.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Is that interesting or what? I'll help you. That's why I'm gonna make you my assistant next time, bro. Let's make you my assistant.
I do have my pen and paper out.
Oh yeah, you always good about taking notes.
Once when you get the part where you pick how many slides you want to play for, what pen is that for? Where you get-
Okay, let me go back to it for you, okay? All right. Okay, are you over here in the animation pane?
Right.
Okay, drop the arrow down. Drop the arrow down right beside the audio. Got it? And go to time. Only playing on the first.
Probably there.
And you make sure you choose it. And then you tell the counter one. There we go. Okay, okay.
I didn't get a handout, I was running late today.
They're up front. You'll get them when you leave. When you leave, you'll get a handout. I did not pass them out.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay, you'll get it when you leave. You have this handout.
Mine stops after the first one.
You start at 8. And you say you play through 4. Now this one. Oh, I had what you chose, and that's the only thing about
That's
choosing.
just short.
It's so short.
I thought maybe it was start over.
I know.
That's what Denise said, maybe you were
And,
short. but
and it is, it's finished.
Okay.
That's, yeah, if you had a song, it's easier to get a song, and then you know exactly.
Gotcha, that's what.
Class, these little short clips will stop when they're finished, so that they're just, and that's why you're thinking, hey, it doesn't play through spot 4.
Maybe it was start over.
I know, but they don't. I understand, they're very,
Did they have sometimes it says a little bit where it would continually.
and that's, yeah.
My dad.
And you could change this one, since it's actually not a song, you could change it to loop until stop, and it'll keep playing also. See if that goes. See if that goes. Keep clicking as it goes through long four. Loop until stop. You can also do a loop until stop for these little short clips that we're practicing with.
Thank you.
Short clips we're practicing with, you can do that. When you actually have a song, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Where is loop until stop?
Okay, I'm going to click on my sound clip, and up here under playback, because it's such a short clip, do loop until stopped under audio options, Gail. Because yours is such a short clip that you're getting from the web. You see it?
Would you say it?
Loop until stop.
No. I mean,
No? Okay, do you have your sound clip selected?
I did.
And up here under audio tools, format, and playback, under playback. Under playback, go over here, right here. You have automatic, play, and then loop. There you go. If it's a real short sound clip and you want it to keep playing, you'd have to tell it, because it's not going to last over 4 slides if it's a real short. Got it?
That's cool.
Cool.
Remember how to do it.
Gotcha. All right. You want to do, see how to insert a hyperlink? You can hyperlink yourself to any website you want to inside of the presentation, which kind of looks good, especially when you're giving information that you want them to go online and look at. So we'll do a basic hyperlink. Let's go down here to one of the slides. Let's go down here to slide 9. And what I do when I want my students to go to a hyperlink that I've selected, I select the text. So we're going to select class goals. And what you're doing is hyperlinking that text so that in your slideshow, when you click on it, it takes them to it. Okay? So once you select the text that you want to hyperlink, you go up here to Insert and you choose Hyperlink. And all you have to know is the what? The web address. The web address. So of course we know CVCC's web address. See, I think if I just do that. All right? And it'll turn the text a different color. Now you cannot get to it unless you're in slideshow. So if you click on slideshow and then you click on the hyperlink, I gotta put www. It's gonna make me put www beside it, isn't it? All right, we all know that. www, all you put www beside it. That works automatically. Just gotta make sure the web address is correct. And when you go here, it'll hyperlink to the website that you told them to go to, okay? That's how easy it is to insert a hyperlink. That work for you? My best student left the room. Where'd he go? Where'd Steve go? Now, what I'm going to do now is help anyone with problems they may have had during all my talk. And those of you that have learned everything, here's a handout that you can take with you. So, if you want to, and also there's a evaluation that you have to fill out, and you can also take a handout. Okay? So, yeah, if you're finished, if you don't want me to show you something, I know some of you had a question, you might need me to show you something, I will. And I can work with you individually on different things if some of you have trouble. Give you the handouts that'll go with the PowerPoint, and then you do the evaluation. Okay? Did you learn anything?
Yeah.
You thought you knew PowerPoint?